Hello again, so I'm back again to fight Brendan in the argument for books versus Kindles. One point I just want to quickly make, which isn't the best argument for books, I'm just going to put it out there. They act as a very handy camera stand when you've lost your tripod. I really need to find that tripod soon. Anyway, I want to rebut a lot of things that was in Brendan's 11 minutes news fest. In fact, would you like to see an impression of me during that video? Is it over? It was truly thrilling, wasn't it? And on the day that Rafa Benitez makes his return to the English Premier League in tribute to him, I have a sheet of facts that I'm going to use to rebut Brendan's positions. We're going to try and do it nice and quickly. Firstly, when he was saying that he was propping himself up and hurting his neck, you're not meant to prop yourself up, you're meant to sit up properly like you would in a chair, except from the fact you're using your bed and the wall. So boom, that won't hurt your neck unless you're doing it wrong. Okay, and the book holding thing where he was saying about it being difficult to hold up, I'm going to demonstrate this with Keith the cat and a magical hat, a birthday present I received from my parents. So, you're always holding your Kindle up because it's only got one face, so you need to hold it up like that the whole time so that you can read it. Whereas if you're reading a book, when you're on your left hand page, if you're relying on your right hand side, you can just look at it like that, and then you only need to pick it up for the left hand page. Also, there is Keith the cat with the magical hat, if you would like to see him in all his glory. It's a fantastic book, by the way. We should actually all go out and get it. And also, he mentioned not changing position after 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure most people don't sit still constantly for 45 minutes. If you can do that, I'm very, very impressed. Also, he talked about the books being incinerated and not recycled. I want to see the proof of this, Brendan. I'm pretty sure a lot of book manufacturers are keen on recycling because it makes paper cheaper, which means it's cheaper for them to print things. Talked about harvesting trees. Yes, you have to harvest trees for papers, I'm not going to argue with this, but harvesting trees is a good thing if they're being replanted. If you just let the trees die naturally and fall over, it means there's far more likely to be forest fires, which can then reach civilian population, which could be burnt out of their homes. If you're chopping down trees and planting new ones, you're in control of that forest and you know what's happening there, and forest fires are far less likely to happen spontaneously. Thank you for admitting I won on the 2 books point. If you do ever invent your brindle, I demand some of the funds from it. About the conflict minerals, I don't want to go into this to too much depth, but you've said they're being exploited, and I don't think you're going to be able to argue that the exploitation is a good thing. If we weren't, if the minerals were boycotted now, they wouldn't lose the minerals. They'd be there, and we could start purchasing them again once there was a more stable situation in the country. But I don't want to go out on that. And also, you took Dan massively out of context when he was talking about people. The person in the library, and it needs to be said with such venom, because they were a person, was charging both their laptop and their Kindle at the same time, using the 2 plugs that were meant for 2 people, meaning that Dan could not use his plug. You don't need to charge a book. You've got your book, it's there, it doesn't go off, you don't need to charge it. As I will say in Brendan's defence that he's right about not having to constantly charge a Kindle, but because a Kindle isn't backlit, like you seem to be trying to claim, which is part of the reason it's not just an iPad that does less, is that you will need to use a light behind you to actually read it at the time. So I think that's all him rebutted. And now on to my main point. That's someone at the door. I'm trying to record YouTube videos and there's someone at the door. Hi Dan.
Hi Keith. Have you got that book I was meaning to borrow?
Oh yeah, I'll just get that for you.
Brilliant.
There it is.
Thank you.
It's really handy that I've managed to just give you that single book because I've got a paper copy of it, as opposed to say I had some sort of e-reader or Kindle where I'd have to give you my entire library of books.
It is, isn't it?
And then be unable to read anything myself.
I agree.
Well, I hope you appreciate it.
I will.
I'll see you later,
Brendan.
Now what was I about to say?